Did you ever look at something that you bought or your company bought and wonder, now why did we pay money for this? Or did you think, is it really doing what it's supposed to do? Is it meeting our goals? Well, you never have to think that again. Hi, I'm Jack, and welcome to Negotiate Value Lesson 9. I believe you're going to find this is the single most valuable lesson in the entire course because we're going to cover something that's extremely useful and extremely simple. It is the benefit bridge, a simple exercise to always connect the what, the how, and the why in every purchase that you make. And it's just as useful from the seller side to connect the buyer's reasons for buying to what it is they're buying. So it's really a one-page negotiation preparation. If you use this consistently, what you'll find is that it helps you to prioritize what you're buying, to understand how it's really driving your goals and your benefits, and then it will help you save money by avoiding purchases that don't really meet your goals. So what we're going to talk about today is what the benefit bridge is and how we use it. And then we'll take a couple minutes and discuss measuring success with numbers, which is an important way to bring this exercise into reality and make it really serve your goals. But first I want to start with a story, a quick story about a cross-country airline flight. And 2 hours into the flight, the plane entered a huge storm. It was ferocious. There was thunder and lightning, and the plane was pitching back and forth, and people were getting thrown about and getting sick and starting to wonder if they were really going to make it through the end. But they did. And as their heartbeats were descending from a rapid level to a more normal level, the captain came on the loudspeaker, and he said, "Shh, ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain. I have some good news and some bad news for you. The bad news first. Shh. Well, as you know, we went through quite a storm back there, and in fact, I'm sorry to say that the plane was struck by lightning several times, and we've taken some damage. In fact, we've lost our communication system, as well as our navigation system, and the use of our global positioning system. I don't have to tell you that what this means is that we don't really know exactly where we are and what vector we're on or where we're headed. Shh. But to give a little good news to the story, well, we picked up a very strong tailwind coming out of that storm, and we're making excellent time." Okay, so gather yourself from your laughter, and I'm sure you can see the absurdity of that last statement, right? What difference does it make how fast you're going if you don't know where you are or where you're headed? And so there's no point in knowing what your speed is if you don't have the right destination, right? Now, by the same token, if you don't know what your goal is, then what you buy doesn't really get you there. So what you pay for a purchase or the purchase itself is meaningless without the purpose behind it. You have to connect what you're buying to the goal. Now, this is where so many negotiations resources fall short because they're overly focused on the price itself and getting that to the right level when they're not really looking enough at the overall value of what you're capturing. But that's what you need if you want long-term success in buying and negotiating. So let's take a look at the 3 simple parts of the benefit bridge worksheet. And if you're in the course, you've received this worksheet via email, so you can print it out and use it. If you don't have this and you want this, send me a note because it has some instructions on how to do it that are a little bit helpful. But it's really quite simple. We start with the features, then on the right side have the goals, and in between are the benefits. The benefits are the bridge. So these 3 items are really the what, the how, and the why of your purchase. And they're sequential, right? The features lead to the benefits, and the benefits leads to the goal. And that's usually in a many to one scenario. There are numerous features, just descriptions of what you're buying, that lead to a few benefits and then lead to the one goal. In our last lesson, we looked at benefits and defined 15 benefits that cover everything you buy. And so you can simply name one of those from the list. And in fact, in this worksheet, those are on here to make it easy for you. So let's hit a couple of examples. One more thing before we do that, and this is critically important, that is the proof. What shows that you are actually making your way to the goal, and that's where we get to measuring and numbers. So as an example, let's say you're buying office space, which nearly everybody does. We can list out a description of the features of what you're buying. So what's the location of the office space? What's the square footage? What's the layout? These lead to benefits. And the benefits are probably simply more efficiency, right? It's more efficient to have everybody in one office and working rather than going around figuring out where they're going to work. What does that lead to? It leads to high quality service. You can't give good service or good product if you're not efficient. As simple as this is, I wanted to use this example to show how everyday purchases that we make, that we take for granted, are all connected to some business goal. We don't buy anything if it's not connected to a business goal, and it's very important to make that connection. So let's take another slightly more complex purchase, which would be A fulfillment company. Let's say you're in the business of selling textbooks to schools, and you have a fulfillment company to help you. What they do, well, they store the items, they store the books, they receive orders for the books, and they ship the products. Okay, now what's the benefit that you get from this? If we look at our list of 15 benefits, the most probable benefits are more help, so you don't have to do this yourself, and then less cost, because you could ship them, but they do it in a more efficient way. It's less costly. Ultimately, what's the goal behind those benefits? It's an improved product. Now let's think about how you would measure that goal, how you would prove that goal. And there are a few different possibilities I just brainstormed, but maybe you measure that by reduced days to shipment from when the order comes in. Maybe it's the cost of shipping, or maybe it's by measuring the number of complaints that are coming in and reducing those. So depending on what you're comparing to, one of those metrics might be the most germane, or they might all be relevant, and they might all be part of proving that this purchase was successful. Now, going to the homework, we're going to do one more example of the benefit bridge, and I'm going to show you this on my homework. What we have here, let's see as I line it up, I'm looking at a purchase of a social media consultant, something that a lot of people are buying now for their businesses. So this consultant's going to do a few things. They're going to post tweets, update my website, advise on SEO strategy, and analyze traffic. Now, when I think about the goals for this, my real goal here is more sales, right? I want more customers and increased sales as a result of hiring this person. So what are the benefits in the middle? I think there are two benefits, and they're both in the more category. I want more help and more expertise. Okay? Forgive my bad handwriting, but that's what I want. And so if I look at posting the tweets or updating the website, that's probably more help. And then strategy and getting traffic analyzed, well, that really requires expertise that I don't have. Now, that raises an interesting question in itself, because as we're making purchases, especially for consulting, we often want to discern what do we want? Do we want more help or more expertise? Expertise almost always costs more than help, so I might want to even break this out into two different purchases depending upon the scale and scope of what I'm buying. But for now, in this exercise, let's keep it together, and what these benefits lead to is more customers and increased revenue. Okay, that's what I'm after. So let's think about how I can measure the success of this purchase. And I'm going to say simply the number of leads that I get and the amount of revenue. Okay? So that's how I'll know if this was a successful purchase or not. So for the homework, what you want to do is two of these benefit bridges. You can do more than two, but do at least one that's personal, something you buy at home for your personal life, and do at least one that's professional for your business. So now let's talk about that measuring. Those metrics we put down. Pretty straightforward when it comes to getting help with your marketing, right? More leads, more money. And that's true of some other things in business, but what I often hear when I'm working with clients is, well, this is something that's hard to measure. I can't really put a number to that. I can't put a dollar value to that. And I want to encourage you that everything can be measured. And so to give an extreme example of that, let's say that you wanted to improve your marriage, make a purchase that would do that. Now you may say, well, how can a marriage be quantified or measured in those simple ways? Well, maybe it can't overall, but I can think of a number of different metrics that would be meaningful in a marriage. So let's say you wanted to have an increased number of dates per month, or fewer arguments, more words of affirmation, more words of affection. The times that I love you is said in a marriage. Maybe it's fewer words of nagging, or more smiles, or more activities or time spent together. So these are all meaningful metrics that relate to a marriage. Now, you'll say, well, a marriage is much more than numbers, and of course it is, but that doesn't mean these numbers are irrelevant or don't in some way reflect on the health of a marriage. So if that's true for a marriage or a relationship, it's certainly true for your brand consultants or your corporate retreat or whatever it is, your office furniture, whatever it is that you're buying that's kind of hard to quantify. I'm sure that if you brainstorm, you can think of a good metric that will actually show whether that purchase is a success or not. And if you're really having trouble, send me a note and I bet we can do it together. Now, if you don't have a hold of your Benefit Bridge worksheet, please again, send me an email, jack@buyingexcellence, and I'll send you one. I'd also love to hear how you're having success with this and how you're using it, so tell me how it goes. And I'll see you in lesson 10.